Right, it's myself, John McIntyre, Stage Time Promotions. I'm here with the lovely Megan Black.
Hello.
And she's vibing out today, she's looking good.
Thank you.
We've been doing some photos in a very vintage style with an old camera today, so we'll get those photos included either in the video or later on on the channel.
Yes.
So how you doing anyway?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You've been a busy girl lately.
I have
the
been
festivals
busy.
And stuff.
Yes.
You want to tell us a wee bit about that?
Yeah. I've been very lucky. I've had a lot of festival opportunities this summer, which is great. Like this time last year, I played my first ever festival, and in this year's just kind of like, I feel like I've been in a fight, but in the best way.
Yes.
Just playing like a lot of festivals.
I actually loved when you put your video up. I think it was Eden Festival, and it never came across as creepy at all.
Okay.
I'll be in the woods at 7:30 tomorrow night if you want to come along.
I mean, people came along, so
I was
they must have.
laughing so much. I was like, that's brilliant. I'm going.
Yeah. It was honestly really fun. It was just very random. It was when I say it was in the middle of the woods, the promoter who booked me for Eden sent me a photo of the stage, and it was like a kind of almost like a hut.
Right.
With like a little banister thing around it. He was like, "This is the stage."
Right.
And it's just in the middle of the woods. So I was like, how else do I tell people where to find me? Just keep walking.
Yeah, just come into the woods, I'll be there, I'll sing you some songs.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll not be too dark for you to get home.
People seem to vibe to everybody was like, woo. So
It's just when I watched the video I went, yeah, that sounds safe.
yeah.
That's good.
I mean, yeah, I feel like
Did
if
it
I
go
was,
well though?
It did go well. It did
Excellent.
go well. Yeah.
Excellent.
I think if I was slightly more threatening, then
You're not threatening us like
that's
this.
good.
No.
But I think if I was and I was like, oh yeah, come along to this gig in the middle of the woods.
Right. I think if anybody could convince someone to come into the woods to listen to someone sing, it's you.
Thank you.
Definitely. So how has things been since your debut album 2022, this one here?
Deadly as
If
the
you don't
Woman.
have it, what the fuck is wrong with you? So Deadly as the Woman, really nice.
Thank
I
you.
liked it.
I've actually found out that the album, so I only made so many copies of it. It was my first ever album. There's loads of things I would do differently, looking at it now. But I feel like it's a real summary of like my late teens and early 20s, and just being really mad at the world. Like I went through this total, I had a lot of horrible experiences with men in particular, and it threw me into this like, I'm going to learn everything about feminism and the patriarchy, and I kind of went to the extreme. I was very much like, I have to be the perfect
Which is
feminist.
very easy to do.
Yeah, totally. Like I couldn't watch a rom-com. I was like, like just everything was a drama. And I think that album represents a lot of that. It represents a lot of my rage at the world, but I still think the songs now fit my life today. Like now I'm kind of just like, I'm never going to be the perfect queer person. I'm never going to be the perfect feminist. I just have to kind of make songs that I like, and I love writing kind of rock songs. I love performing.
I think that's the good thing about the album is that you do get a sense of you coming through on it, and it's not, because I think what can sometimes happen with people's debut albums is they feel like they've got to try and slot themselves into a box. Yeah. And
and sound like someone
and
else.
sometimes their influences can come through a little too much. And I like the fact that listening to yours, you could maybe guess some of the influences. Yeah. But I think for the most part you would need to ask. I think for the most part you would need to ask what your influences are, because there's so much of you in the album, which I think is a good thing.
Thank you.
Especially for a debut album, because it is so easy just to, try and fit in.
Yeah, well I think when I wrote that album, so before I lived in this flat, my first ever flat when I moved out to go to uni was, when you see these New York apartment tours and they're like, here's my kitchen / bedroom. Yeah. It was literally that, and I worked at the bank, if you can believe it. I worked at the bank.
You worked at a bank?
Yeah. I worked in fraud prevention, of all things. And I did all of that from home while studying. It was during COVID and everything. Right. And that's where I wrote that album. So I think if anything, my sort of influences were kind of cut off a bit. Like I wasn't going to gigs, I wasn't, you know, I was so isolated when I wrote it that I think that's what brought it about. And then when I took it to the band that I worked on the album with, they're all such individual musicians themselves that I think they just kind of were able to bring everything to life, and it just felt like it was its own thing. And it's been so nice. Like, I mean, I got an email basically, we're down to like the last few records in shops, and I won't be making any more. I think this album's just specifically for people that have like supported me from the start kind of thing. Nice. Yeah, I could tell the people that were supporting me from the get-go kind of thing. It was like I put up a Kickstarter campaign, and it was like straight away people just really wanted to be involved in it, which I think is so nice, because I think when you make art as well, you're so on your own in it sometimes, you know, that you forget that people actually enjoy what you do as well. Like, it's sometimes I'm just writing songs and I'm like, this is terrible, everything's terrible, and then it takes like something like that where you see that people are actually invested in what you do and support it and believe in it. And I think the album for me represents that a lot, and I think I want it to remain kind of like a special thing. Like, it's amazing that it sold out in general. Like, I have a few copies and that's it. And that's crazy to me. I'm like, people actually bought this. Wow. But I think
you're quite a shy and humble person, really.
Thank you. I'm dramatic, but
you're dramatic, but you're shy as well. Yeah. You're very. I think I was saying to you earlier on, when you're performing live, you're in between song bits. You know, you're very good at the chat in between songs, but you're quite quiet. You come across as quite shy and withdrawn a little bit. But then the music starts and you just become this other person.
It's definitely the duality of me. Aye. But yeah, compared to this album and what I'm writing now, I'm very excited for what's to come. Yeah. Which is good.
So your last single.
Yes.
Forgive me, something about introverts.
Funk for introverts.
I keep forgetting it.
No, it's okay. Lots of people do this. They'll go introvert funk, and I'm like, this is close enough.
I remember the introvert bit every time. Yeah. But I like the fact that you're having a lot of fun in the video as well. Yeah. So it's, and I like that. I like that kind of. It's almost like a VHS video vibe. Yeah. You know, a home video vibe.
That's kind of what I was going for.
So and I like that. Great track as well. Thank you. That's good.
So I wrote that song. I actually started off the little like dum da da dum ba da 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 dum da da dum. Started off as a vocal melody for a different song. But while I was writing that song, I was going through my autism diagnosis. Right. And I was like, I just feel like I need to channel this into a song. It was kind of like, I think for a lot of people who are neurodivergent, it's like you go through this moment where you're like, oh man, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. It makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I got mine through therapy, and I just remember like I felt relieved, but I also felt a lot of grief as well, which was kind of a bit, I wasn't expecting to feel that, and I think I just channeled it into that song. It was like a way of kind of, because I think as well for me being quite introverted as a musician and that whole kind of duality thing, it's really challenging, because when I'm just me and I'm not maybe performing or kind of in that sort of headspace of being the kind of like performer, sort of like dramatic. It's really hard because the music industry is built on a lot of making relationships, you know. So there's a lot of people who will play their own gigs, but then every other night they're at a gig or they're at a networking thing or they know this person, and I just can't do that. Like I would need, if I go to a networking event, I need like a week in my bed. Yeah. Just to like lie there, like so I just wanted to make a song that really just like pokes fun at myself, like this whole idea of like, you like my personality, that's a tragedy, I stole it from you. Like this idea, like whenever I meet new people, I'm just like, I'll just mirror what you're doing and then you'll like me, do you know? And I'm trying, as I'm getting older, I'm trying not to do that as much. But then when you don't do it, it's like, then people are like, oh, you're boring. You're just like, can't really win. But just like, you know, it's like you either fit in or you really, really don't.
There is this pressure in society to fit in, which is very annoying. So what you got on the horizon? Is there anything you can tell us about that isn't like super top secret?
I mean, it's all top secret. It's a top secret mission. So I've just signed with some management, which I'm very excited about. I think I was definitely going through the burnout phase, because up till this point, everything's just been me. Which is great, and I've got loads of great people around me, but I was like, I'm not like an organiser.
Right.
I don't know if you can tell by the surroundings of my flat, but I'm not somebody who has like works to a schedule or necessarily thinks of everything. Like I definitely have more of a scattered brain, and part of that is being neurodivergent as well. So for me it was really, really starting to burn me out, and it just so happened I met a woman called Roxy, who is my manager, and she's just a powerhouse, so we're going to see how that goes.
That's good.
I am writing new music. I'm releasing a big project sometime soon, which you will hear more about.
Excellent.
I'm writing an album is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I'm like, I'm writing a new album.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite, going to be a very personal album. It's very much about, like I'm 24 now, and I think this album's going to be a lot to do with all the things that I've sort of learned throughout my early 20s. Like I don't know why nobody tells you this, but being in your 20s is horrible. Like you just, like it's great in terms of like, you look young and things maybe like sit where you want them to sit. But other than that, you don't have a clue what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like there's so much, it's like I'm an adult now, I should know what I'm doing with my life. And it's like, I don't think
I'm 52,
anybody does.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, like...
I'm not sure I want to know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's true. You find out and
takes
you're
the fun out of it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to write an album and a concept that represents my own personal experiences and kind of how I've gone from one point to another and I still know nothing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it's about. And I will also be doing a bunch of tours, potentially overseas as well, which is exciting.
That's good. Right.
Yeah, should be
well,
fun.
You already went overseas, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell us a wee bit about that.
I was very fortunate to be able to go to California and do some shows at the end of December just there. And I wrote a song, it's actually on this album, called San Francisco, and it was all about, I just basically chose a place in the world. I was like, okay, if I can get to that place, then I know that there's like hope for me to be a musician and just do what I want to do in my life. Yeah. Like I'd worked so many horrible jobs, but I was like, this can't be all that my life is about. And I just have this urge to play music and to travel with it. And San Francisco was kind of like a little milestone. Like if I get there, then it's all going to be fine. And I had the absolute privilege of going there and playing. I played a show in San Francisco and LA, and I just floated about, went on night buses. It was chaos, but it was great. Right. There's a lot going on. But I loved California, and I can't wait to go back. I want to go to the States a lot more. I ended up working with another artist over there as well. So, yeah, I'm very excited. I've just finished uni, literally like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So I'm done, and now this is like, this is my life now. I have nothing else going on other than I need to just be a musician and just do it.
Right.
So that's where we're at. So you might see me just like living in a van, traveling around.
Going from festival to festival.
Yeah.
Banging
not showering for
let
weeks.
Me in, please.
Showing up at my mum's house on my washing. And then I came back. I worked on a film soundtrack, which was great at the start of this year. Released Funk for Introverts. I won an award, which was crazy.
Nice.
Yeah. I still think they messed up.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
When you get an email or something, you're like, is this for me? I'm going to give it like another day in case they're like, sorry. But yeah, and then I put myself forward on the internet to support Stevie Nicks. And thanks to like everybody that commented, I actually did hear back from the promoter. They basically, it was like the head of the promotion company. He emailed me basically just saying how much he really admires me as an artist, and that essentially I was like put forward for the gig, and then Stevie brought her own support.
Right.
So it's a wee bit gutting, but it's also like the fact I even got to that point.
The fact that it was seen that you did that.
Yeah.
Which
it's
is
because
great.
of other people.
And you never know what that could lead to in the future. Yeah, so you fancy doing a wee quick fire round?
Okay. Yes.
Of some questions.
I'm quite scared, but yeah.
Yeah. Right, Megan, you ready for the quick fire round?
I think so.
Right, this is like Mastermind, but you don't get to choose the subject.
Okay.
Right, first question. What was the first ever live venue you played, and did it go well?
The first ever live venue I played, I competed for the best young musician in Scotland, and it did not go well because it turned out it was a classical music competition, and I showed up and sung a blues song.
All right, well, I would have picked you because blues is amazing.
Thank you.
Right, number 2, describe yourself using only 3 random words, not a sentence.
Chaos, suave,
like it.
Dramatic.
Dramatics. Perfect. Right, number 3, which celebrity would you prefer to be stuck in a lift with for 24 hours? Whether that's because you admire them or fancy them, whatever.
Okay, I'm going to go Stevie Nicks.
Of course.
We'd have a great chat.
Exactly, that would be the best 24 hours.
Calm, I think.
That'd be the best 24 hours ever. Yeah. You could probably write a song together in that time.
We could write a full album. There you go.
That would be excellent. Right, number 4, if you could only listen to one album for a whole year, which one would it be?
This changes quite a lot, to be fair.
It will do, it depends on when you get asked, eh?
Yeah. At the moment, I think possibly Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan.
Oh,
I really
nice.
love that album.
Cool. Number 5, name a musician, but not a singer, that you admire.
Does it count if they're a musician and singer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But not primarily a singer.
Okay.
Because everybody always chooses a singer.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Let me think. Tina Weymouth from Talking Heads.
Oh, Talking Heads, cool. You have that very 70s, 80s love of music.
Yeah.
I'm liking it.
Thank you.
Right, if you could perform on stage with anyone, who? Oh my God, I wonder who you're going to say.
Actually, it's not. It's not who you think I'm going to say. I would love to perform with David Byrne from Talking Heads.
Oh, brilliant.
I love his dance moves. I'd love to recreate Stop Making Sense and do the whole this thing.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And this is a follow-on question, which I thought was going to be a great follow-on question. What's your favourite Stevie Nicks song?
You just predicted. My favourite Stevie Nicks song is probably Gold Dust Woman.
Right. Number, what are we on now? 8. Right. Out of these decades, which fashions do you prefer? 60s, 70s or 80s?
70s.
70s. Number 9. Do you have a guilty pleasure pop artist? And if
Hannah
so,
Montana.
who? Hannah Montana?
It's not even guilty, it's just...
No. It's funny you should say that because I bought Miley Cyrus' Plastic Hearts album on vinyl. Love it!
I love Miley Cyrus.
It's so good, and she does a mix of Age of 17 on it.
There you go.
Which is great. Right, tell me something about you. This is the last one. Tell me something about you that many people do not know.
I'm extremely clumsy. So as we're recording this interview, I was eating a croissant and I was having a chat and I fell over a pothole and now I'm wearing a cast on my ankle.
Brilliant.
No extreme sports, just clumsiness.
Right, and we'll finish the interview off with if you tell everybody where they can follow you on social media.
So I'm on all social media at Megan Black Music, and it's a little photo of me posing like this.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.